You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of adyJMedia. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Lady J. I am here tonight. Y'all know what tonight is. It's Thursday. This is the night when we talk to Monti. Monti is incarcerated. So we've been doing this, I think, now for a couple of months. He's been coming on. We do different topics, and it's always up to him. I tell him this is his show. I'm the co-host on here. But unfortunately, you all can't see him because he has to call in. So, and then as you all know, let me get this out of the way. You will hear that he has 60 seconds and 30 seconds. So we just wait until he calls back. For those of you who might be new joining us, the phone calls are timed. So he'll go off and then he'll come back. I want to introduce everybody that's on tonight. We have Miss Janette Graham. We have Mr. Stanley Mitchell. Now, these two are powerhouses here in Baltimore. I'm always talking about their program, No Struggle, No Success. And they're going to tell you exactly what they do here and what they do for returning citizens. Now, also, we have Darren. Darren popped off again. Let me see something, y'all. Let me see if I can get him back. There we go. Darren, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
All right. So we have Darren here. Darren actually was on our show Monday night. He's been home since May. And so he shared his story on Monday night. And we got Monti online. We don't say which facility he's in, but he's incarcerated. So we're going to have a real good conversation tonight about the reentry program. We're going to talk to Darren about how it feels now to be on the other side of the wall. This show is called Behind the Walls with Monti. So Monti, how are you doing?
I'm good, Lady J. I'm good. It's a little hot over here on my end, so I'm just trying to stay cool, stay hydrated as much as possible. But for the most part, I'm doing good.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. Let's start with the ladies. So we're going to ask Mrs. Graham to introduce herself and tell us all about her program.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Monti. Hope to see you on the other side soon, and welcome home, Mr. Johnson. My name is Janette Graham. I'm the president of No Struggle, No Success, and we are a full-service reentry program for the state of Maryland. And throughout the state, we serve 220 individuals per year. And we serve as young as 11, as old as 65. For returning citizens and juvenile prevention services, so they do not go behind the wall if they don't have to. Again, alternative paths from prison. And then for the adult side, those individuals who have spent time behind the wall, that they are able to receive comprehensive home plans and resources when they have transitioned into the community. And there's some guidelines and stuff like that I don't mind sharing after we finish introductions, but we're here for those ones that's currently incarcerated and those juvenile offenders that's currently in the detention centers.
All right. Mr. Stanley, tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stanley Mitchell. I'm program director of No Struggle, No Success. My area of expertise is long-term prisoners, individuals that have been incarcerated a long time and come out into the community. No Struggle, No Success was designed and devised to do two things: to keep clients alive and free.
All right. And you have a story yourself. I got to get you on here so I can interview you because you definitely have a story. We got to talk about your story.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
And then we have Darren. Darren, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Monti, my name is Darren Johnson. I recently was released from prison after doing nearly 17 years, and I'm currently in a reentry program right now. So I'm gonna speak a little bit about it later on and tell you, what it was like coming to this program and just being released from prison.
All right. So everybody, thank you so much for coming on. I love doing this show. And of course, Monty. Hey, Miss Joyce, how are you? Of course, Monty is on the inside. So, Monty, tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm Monti. I'm one of the juveniles that's been locked up for over 17 years now. And he was currently waiting to go up for the JRA, so I can get released back into the community and back home with my family. So I'm just staying focused, programming. Yeah, that's about it.
And Monty, how old were you when you went in?
15. I was 15 years old.
And how old are you now?
32.
32. So, and this is one of the, the things that we were fighting for down in Annapolis, but a lot of the stuff that we were fighting for ended up dying on the table. So, they didn't get they didn't even really look at it, I don't think, and paid no attention to it. But we do hope that you're able to come out soon, because going in at 15, that's a long time, so we do hope that you're able to come out soon. So tonight we're going to be talking about, the importance of these reentry programs, because Janette, a lot of times, what I hear in working with people that are incarcerated, what I get a lot is, why are you doing it? Why do you want to do something like that? It's a waste of time. They just going to come out and go back in again. So I've been trying to do these shows, on Mondays and Thursdays, to really put people in front of the camera who have come out, who are doing great things, so people can see that it's possible to be inside and be reformed. And a lot of these guys that I have on the shows the one guy has gotten his PhD in prison, So there are a lot of men and women who are incarcerated who are doing great things behind the wall. And so we want to continue to push that narrative to let people know that we can't just always say lock them up, forget them, and throw away the key. So Janette, I know you got to go, so I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit about the reentry program. Monty is really interested in it because, hopefully he'll be going up for parole soon, and he really wanted to know a lot more about this program.
Sure. So for individuals that's interested in reentry programming, I will tell you that No Struggle No Success is the one of the primary reentry programs for the state of Maryland who delivers direct program services. We're not reentry navigators. We're not reentry specialists that hold titles where they do referral-based linkage, where they give you a piece of paper and send you on your way. That's typically what happens when someone gets returned that does get the opportunity to come home. They're released with a large envelope full of documents that they probably don't even know how to use. It's outdated. The resource is not there. There's a waiting list and those kind of things. So we believe at NSNS that reentry starts from the moment that someone's incarcerated. However, our program, we've designed it in such a way that they have to have a release date within the next 6 months, or and if it's not a release date, a parole hearing, or some type of file motion. And so Monty mentioned, and I'll use as an example, a JRA. So the Juvenile Restoration Act was passed October 2021. And NSNS, No Struggle, No Success, have completed 56 of the JRA cases for the state of Maryland. This means that someone under the age of 18 committed a crime and was convicted and was sentenced to life and served more than 20 years in prison, 20 plus years in prison, and have the opportunity to go in front of a judge and hopefully get their sentence reduced and or time served. And we've been very successful in this area. And typically for anyone that is behind the wall that fits our program guidelines, we're able to come inside the prison, do an interview, unless we do it virtually. We do a pre-screening of the referral. We look at infraction history, academics, their progress. We talk to their family. We talk to them, because it will not work unless we talk to them. And then we work together with holistic and evidence-based approaches to completely design a personalized home plan for them. And we present that in court. So typically myself and Mr. Mitchell will present, if the judge would allow someone to be able to come home, that they have a full service reentry program that's going to follow them and give them continuing care for at least 18 months or if needed longer. And so No Struggle No Success has been doing this for 4 years. As a 501c, we've been in the community since 2018. And For those who are currently behind the wall, we understand that there is a lack of programming behind the wall. They do not give corrective programs. They are limited to individuals depending on if they're a lifer, they're not a lifer. If they are in certain regions, whether if they're in Cumberland versus if they're down BCC downtown. So it depends on, and then it also depends on the staffing. If the case manager or the social worker wants to help you and put those things together, they're really lack of resources or lack of support, especially as they're preparing to come home. And so what NSNS have decided to do is work along with those agencies like Department of Public Safety and Corrections, the Public Defender's Office, Baltimore City Public Schools, several health institutions like LifeBridge Health, Center for Hope, Department of Juvenile Justice, and the Mayor's Office, and a few other local community organizations and businesses to pretty much build out. So if someone says, hey, I need my GED, I need an ID, I need my medical assistance, I need a bank account, I need clothes, I need a place to stay. All those kind of things that you think of that's basic human needs, we address first. But we also ensure that they also get opportunity to make sure that they address their mental health and substance abuse, because those things are not behind the wall. And then we make sure that when someone does get the opportunity to come home, that they're assigned to a mentor. Everyone, regardless if you're in prison or not, needs a therapist or needs someone that they can talk to from a clinical standpoint, and then they get peer support, someone that had lived experiences. And so when Mr. Mitchell talks, he'll speak about his story. But for me, I can't say that I know what it feels like to be in prison. But what I can say is that I've been heavily affected by someone that's been behind a wall. Every man, excluding my husband, that I've said I love you to, or have been a part of my life, have served some form of time in prison, in and out of prison, and recycled. And I never understood why that took place until it happened to my son. And basically, the legal and criminal system is systematic poison. It's definitely against more Black and brown individuals. But there is problems with prison reform, criminal justice reform, restorative justice, all these components that needs a pivot to ensure that we're addressing things fairly. So do I believe that people belong in prison? Yes. Do I believe that most of the guys that we have seen, especially people like Monti, who served 15 years, that went away when they was 15, that changes an individual. There's so many other barriers besides the basic human needs that they need assistance with, and SNS is full service range. So anybody that knows us or wants to get to know us, they are able to come and do a tour at Maryland Avenue. We also have second office space at Light Street. We have my staff. This is a woman-led business. We're certified for the state of Maryland and Baltimore City. And so half of my staff are returning citizens, and other individuals are individuals like myself who were directly impacted by someone that they love behind the wall. This kind of design works because someone like Stan and myself, being a business partners, he can tell me what it feels like to be behind a wall. He knows exactly from wardens to COs. He can tell me what they lack. I've been able to go inside the prison in the women's side since October of last year. NSNS have gotten 13 women out so far. We're headed to 26 before the end of this year. We have been able to release 178 individuals in the community in the last 2 years. And we've served 500 in the last 3 years. And we have a success rate of 91.2. And this simply means that individuals that came in our program, out of 500, only 7 went back to prison or have reoffended.
Wow.
So we know for a fact that our program model works, simply because we are only as good as our clients are. So if our clients are good, then we're good. This is definitely a learning process. This is teachable moments to understand that the importance of someone who is behind the wall, that they should be treated as a human, and that we have to also think individuals like that have made it to the community, that we've done some things that we're not proud of, or that we just didn't get caught.
Mm-hmm.
And so those kind of things we need to take under consideration when someone wants to take accountability, remorse, respect the victim and the victim's family. All of those things are a part of reentry. And we just want to make sure that anybody that comes into our program, that they seek out these services and they get them. We are We don't just let anybody come into the program, because we want people that are willing and teachable, just like we are, to continue working together, because it involves community healing, reduce of violence, and definitely saving the state of Maryland lots of money. When you guys decide not to commit a crime, um, it brings together families. But when you do decide to commit a crime, not only does it impact everyone and yourself, but it also feeds and clothes and house someone else's child. So every time you commit a crime, you're allowing someone else's child, except your own, to go to college. You're paying somebody else's mortgage instead of you taking care of finding the resources out here. And SNS is here to the community, boots on the ground. We're not someone that says, hey, we here, and then don't call, then we don't follow up. We definitely follow up to the best of our ability. We address things right away. And basically, we do this because we want to. There's not a lot of money in this. There's a lot of human services involved, a lot of case management involved. But the blessing is to know that a brother or a sister was able to come home, and that they know that we're a phone call, drive, text, or call away to any of their services, personal and professional. And so I stand by that. Mr. Mitchell stands by that, and my entire team.
So I do have a question, because I'm just so amazed with your program. And you said it's only been like 4 years that you've been doing it. How, I know you mentioned your son is a part of your mission in doing this, but you all are doing so much. How did you get to the point where, like, it sounds like you've been running this for about 20 years. How did you get to that point where y'all just moving and growing so fast?
Well, three things played a big part in it. I have 23 years worth of experience in nonprofit work. I worked in the government, in the city, and I definitely worked in the healthcare industry. And I've had the pleasure to work underneath several CEOs and presidents that gave me the opportunity to return back to school, and also practice and learn about certain things related to grant writing, entrepreneurship, leadership skills, and organization skills. And so what I did was, I was actually looking for a reentry program for my son. My son never asked to be a part of a reentry program, but I knew that when he did have the opportunity to come home, that he was going to be an adult in age, but mentally he wasn't going to be what his age wouldn't match his mindset.
Right.
And so I was looking for people, that was going to be able to support me, a man that knew what it felt like to be behind the wall. And I couldn't find one. I interviewed 22 quote unquote reentry programs. And I fell into the same trap as those individuals that came home with that packet and it wasn't enough information. So what I decided to do, my son gave me this booklet, and it said, no struggle, no success. So I said, you know what? I will buy this name from you. I would invest into your business and invest into your reentry life when you come home. And I will get people to support you. In turn, I'm going to create my own organization. So people like me, moms that are embarrassed, that don't have a work-life balance, understanding that I can do this job 9 to 5, but at home I'm falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And to build up something that was going to be for the community. Mr. Mitchell will tell you when he speaks that I never thought that NSNS was going to be as big as it has become. Literally, we thought we was going to help a few people and make a name, just so people can come to us. But when we say that we are grateful and honored and don't take lightly when the judges and prosecutors call us and lawyers call us to see if if we can be a part of someone's home plan and or speak in court on someone's behalf in their character, we're happy for that. So that was one reason, simply because it wasn't out here and I didn't see it. And it's just like when you go shop for a house or go to school. I was looking for a solid, long-term lasting reentry program. The other thing was, I am a mother and I'm going to continue to fight for my children and other mothers that didn't get a chance to even see their children because they passed away from some type of violence or being in prison, and they left them. And so I just continue to say, it's my responsibility. There's a lot of juvenile delinquent behavior that's occurred, and there's research that's going on with that, with the brain development not until the age of 24, which is why the JRA was able to come out. And so that was the second reason that I wanted to no longer complain and that I wanted to be a part of a solution. And then lastly, if I'm being honest, Mr. Mitchell is my uncle. And so being adopted and being in the state of Maryland for almost 30 years by myself, and not knowing that I had biological family right here in the state of Maryland, when I had the opportunity to build an SNS, he too has served time and he was able to tell me things and mentor me as I build out the business plan. And so it's like having uncle daddy right working next to me, and then
Right.
having this mastermind of someone that actually knows exactly what it is to be that, like, basically the glue to the puzzle that I was putting together for reentry programming. And so us two have worked really hard to make this work. Have we cried and fussed and argued and fought through some politics and red tape behind it, and even family things where, you know, this takes our attention. Entrepreneurship is a really hard thing to do, and it's self-discipline. But we're grateful and blessed that the funders, donors, individuals like yourself gives us platform to teach other people, let them know that there are real people here from the heart, that we do this because we really want to. And that's how we've been able to do it. Just skill set, patience, love, and working with each other, team building, because I can't do it by myself.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations, because I hear the name a lot. And so that speaks volumes of what you all are doing, and your success rate is amazing also. Monty, do you have any questions for Janette?
I'm blown away, right? Just hearing this sister speak, because everything that she spoke upon, like, it's real, it's authentic. So, not really like I'm as me listening, you know, going up for the JRA or going up for modification or something like that. The judge can modify this, you know, my sentence or my time, or anybody that's in my position, and be granted, you know, this opportunity to get this reentry program. You know, just telling a lot of guys who may be tuned in. But your story is amazing. Your story is beautiful. I thank y'all. I thank y'all for sharing that, because it's real. You know, it's real. It's not just a front. You know, some people just put on, you know, for whatever it may be, but that's authentic, you know, and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all because it's real. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Monty, just so you know, if you are in the state of Maryland, and if you are 15 and you serve 17 years in prison, you're not yet qualified for the JRA. I think you have to do 20 years, and Stanley can correct me on that when he speaks.
Right.
But if you're going up for parole or sentence modification, if you're interested in even learning about NSNS, your case man, we have a contract with Department of Public Safety and Corrections. So this means that your lawyer, your case manager, or social worker can do a referral on your behalf. And then we will work with them, and then you can get to talk to us one-on-one about yourself and how we can move forward if you choose to use our reentry program. And then from there you get to, you know, see, hey, if this is for me, because again, you guys need a seat at the table. Those laws where Dr. Lady J and myself, and learning how to go down Annapolis and speak on your behalf, when you and your family, when you can't do it, your family need to be down. Anytime between January and April of every year, somebody needs to be down Annapolis advocating for the laws for the reentry population. The more people that do it, the more they'll see the need for it, funding and policy changes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now I know that's an option for.
Yeah. I think his went out. He must have went out.
I think his 30 minutes ran out.
Drug programming too, because I hear that you say that they don't have it in the system no more. So is that will be through like an 8505, or how would that work?
So you know, if you're in Maryland prisons, you know that the only type of drug treatment that you get, or any type of substance abuse support, comes from lifers or your own peer support specialists that come in depending on what region you're in. But with No Struggle No Success, you're mandatory, and there's a program requirement for you to get mental health services and a substance abuse evaluation. Now, we do not provide legal services. So if you think that you're a candidate for 8505, you need to speak to a lawyer, or also, you know, file pro se. And then when you get a notice of a court hearing or get evaluated by that Maryland Health Department evaluator, then that's when NSNS steps in. If you are preparing for parole, then we can help you with your parole plan. The parole board knows us. May 24th, myself and Mr. Mitchell did a presentation to the parole board so that they know who we are personally and professionally, even though we were working with them unregulated before our MOU agreement came into place. But they now know how we screen them and work along with them to ensure that when they see an acceptance letter from NSNS, that they know that we took our time to ensure that that person fit the criteria and that we support that they no longer a threat to society as well. But if you are serving life, of course you need to have some type of release or filed motion in court for us to be even be involved. Because there's a lot of cases that's coming out. The parole, the governor's out the parole process, the JRA, and then the public defender for the state of Maryland is the de-incarceration unit. And so those are ways how people get out. So you just have to work with your case manager and a lawyer to find your best way out as far as getting granted relief. But from home plan perspective, if you meet our qualifications, Mr. Mitchell will be one of the ones that would confirm if you can be in a program or not. Okay. Thank you so much for that. I definitely appreciate it. I'm over here writing as you talking, so I'm listening. I'm here. Okay, no problem.
And Janette, there was a question, and whoever called in, you can call back. I think you got disconnected, but give us a call back. Then, and if you want to call in, it's 443-297-4753. But you have to hold on, because if they're talking, I'm not going to interrupt them, but I will bring you on. So just hold on until I bring you up to talk. But Joyce said, she said, I met Janette Graham. She said, how I met Janette Graham is I saw the Fox 45 interview about her son. Is he close to release?
Okay, so I've been trying to figure out a way to share this information. So my son was 15 when he was charged as an adult, and he was sentenced to 25 years. On April 19th, 2021, he was granted parole and released. As of today, this June of 2023, my son is currently reincarcerated. He has reoffended and he has gone back. I don't know his current status right now. And this is one of those things where adjusting back to society is really hard. And I could not be his reentry specialist. I had to be his mother in this case. And I could not, put the NSNS hat on. When a parole agent, when someone comes home on parole, it's up to the parole agent for them to utilize certain services. And in my son's case, his PO did not want him to use NSNS. And so what did that do? That left him with no structure at 22, when his entire life from 13 to 22 was behind the wall. And so he's the textbook reason why you do not put a child in prison. So Joy, to answer your question, when I say that I prayed and I cried and I screamed and I begged for my son to come home, God did give me the opportunity to have my son for 1 year home, where I was able to do a lot of things with him, celebrate his birthday, holidays, him be with his siblings. But unfortunately, right now, he has gotten caught back up, and I don't know his end result right now. And I'm going back to praying and support, and hopefully that whatever takes place with him, that he understands that he still have love and still have family here. It's just a different rodeo this time around. And some people, it does take them to go back in and figure it back out. And understanding that bad association does still spoil useful habits, and that you need to address your mental health and substance abuse. And those things were not, even though they were planned and available to him, we have to adhere to what his parole agent says. And that was part of the issue of why he returned back to prison. But he was on Fox 45 at the time, the same way how Monti is. He did talk on the phone. And he's very proud to know that NSNS exists, and individuals who have never met him before was willing to support me and the organization. And I just ask you to keep him in the prayers, and hopefully that he is given the opportunity to come home again.
Wow.
Lady, can I interject right quick?
Sure. Go ahead.
So that right there, right? And throughout these institutions around the state of Maryland, as she probably know firsthand, when they did, pull the grant money out, and they took all of the programs out or whatever may have you, right? Now all you have, 95% of everybody in these institutions are getting some form of inebriated, so when you don't have the counseling, when you don't have, certain structures set up in place, that's what you fall into in these facilities, and there's no help. Everybody is being warehoused. So if there is a way that we could find some type of support while we are in here, especially speaking from, the guys that's been locked up like me, since a juvenile, that would be extremely helpful. So that's why it's so important, as everyone already know, to get down to Annapolis and so forth, but also try to get some programs inside these places before that, we come home, because we've been doing stuff a certain way. It creates a habit, for so long, and then we surround it, by this stuff. So I think before we make that leap, before we make that step, I think, if we can push for some stuff, to work in here, and I know it's staffing issues, I know it's, financial issues, but we got to start from in here, because that's where it starts at, because whatever we doing here, we won't take out there with us. Unfortunately, we may adjust and adapt to certain things, but coming from a behavior and a mental health aspect, man, we need that bad in here. These brothers, we need that significantly bad in here,
Wow. Now, Mr. Stanley and Janette, we're going to be praying for your son too. I didn't know that. We're going to keep him in prayer, most definitely, and you. Mr. Stanley, give us a little bit about the program, this after that. There's some kind of noise going on in the background.
Yeah, can you hear me? Because you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
All right,
but you might have to go back out and come back in, because yours is it's got a lot of noise going on in the background.
What about now?
That's better.
All right, wait a minute. That's better. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. As I said, my name is Stanley Mitchell. Unfortunately, I'm intimately familiar with the criminal justice system. I did 1 year shy of 40 years. I was sentenced to life plus 18 years. I went in prison, what they call as an old man, because I went in at 30, which is a shame, because when you're over 25 in prison, you consider an old man, because so many youths are in there. First thing, before I get into that, I want to address my nephew, because Miss Graham's son is also my biological nephew. This is not an excuse, just as facts. When you put an 11-year-old in prison, an adult prison, for stealing a cell phone case, and he gets stabbed and does 6-7 years on administrative segregation, and then you release him to a program and family love that can give him all the support, and then the state intervenes and says, well, he can't go to your program. As like I said, this is not an excuse. I'm just telling you, I just want everybody to have an opportunity to really apply all the things that I've done for myself. And I came a lot on this because the way he was treated in the system. As Ms. Graham said, we're lobbying for it real hard that release should start from the day you get in with the first day in prison. Your programming shouldn't be on your sentence. It should be that you're live and you're healthy enough to participate in the program, and you should be able to start being prepared for release from day one. We're lobbying hard on that. The blowback is like both these two brothers on here know, and I know personally, it's all about security. We were going into prisons and trying to work with guys prior to get out, and we're having difficulties because they everything. I'm bringing drugs in. We're doing things of wrong. That's just the way it is. So I just wanted to address that with concerning my nephew. Now, fortunately, God has blessed me with. Let's just I work on both sides.
Stan, pick up your phone so it can won't skip.
Now, is it better?
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. As I said, I've been on the planet a minute. And prior to incarceration, I worked in the system. I was a work counselor over city jail. So I've been on both sides of the table. All my life, I did a year less than 40 years, and I was on the Wooten versus State, where the judge didn't part of my sentence at the time of sentence, so the new judge did it. Fortunately, with a lot of love and support from a lot of people, I've been home 10 years, and the only negative interaction I had with law enforcement is red light cameras. I got with Miss Graham as my niece. She, I try to keep things simple. She dots all the I's, cross all the T's, and I bring the program. 99%, 98% of the adult side that was designed on things that I had to go through from ID, food stamps, housing, employment. As I was doing that, I documented everything, but I didn't have the business savvy to actually put it on paper, and that's what Miss Graham does. Everybody talks about no struggle, no cess, no struggle, no cess. I hear it all the time myself. It sounds slick, but there's a silent part that nobody talks about, and that's no excuses. And that's what no struggle, no success tries to do. We try to provide no excuses. If a guy comes to our program, or women for that matter, they can't say that they didn't have a place to stay. They can't say they didn't have no clothes. They can't say they didn't have no food. They can't say that they didn't have an opportunity to go to therapy. They can't say that they didn't have transportation. We try to give them everything, so there's no excuses for them to throw no bricks at the penitentiary. If they decide to throw bricks at the penitentiary, that's because that's what they wanted to do. The program also has a policy that I tell them when I interview individuals, look, this is not a get out of jail free card. Freedom is not free. It comes with responsibilities. If you're doing what you're supposed to do when you get out, when I write the report to the judge, that's what's going to say. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then that's when it's going to say. And I don't want you walking around the yard saying that no struggle, no sex got you locked up. You got yourself locked back up, because we go out. We try to do everything in our power to make sure that you have the tools to survive out here. No, we can't take you to Macy's and go shopping, but we can give you clothes. We can't buy you a car, but we can Uber you, or one of our transportation worker will get you where you have to go. So and as Ms. Graham said, we're not. I refer to us as boots on the ground. We're not people that you come into the office, somebody gave you a piece of paper and say, go see them over there, and you come in there and then we give you another piece of paper. No, what we'll do is set an appointment, and if necessary, take you to that appointment. So no success. There's no magical bullet, but individuals, as I like to tell them, if they drink the Kool-Aid, they'll be fine, because I know it works. I came out at 65, and it's been 10 years, and if I could do it, I don't think there's nothing special about me that they can't also. So we also are heavy on peer mentorship. But when an individual comes home, we go out our way to find out somebody that's in this community that we know that was that they know. And so we put them together, because that way individuals see that, you see somebody that you walk the yard with. Now you see him, nice house, nice car, nice clothes. You say, I'm going to get them things too. So it's easier to get them to, as I say, drink the Kool-Aid. The prison system is, you represent a dollar sign. Prison is no more than modernized slavery. I refer to them as plantations. There's people that don't want you to be successful, because everybody that comes out stays out. That's one 10 years free labor they're not getting from somebody. Mm-hmm. So that's what No Struggle, No Cess is about.
So, Mr. Stanley, when you said you did 39 years straight.
Well, let's just try it this way: 38 years, 6 months, 20 days, 16 hours.
Wow.
No work release, no camps, no nothing. They put that 3-piece suit on me August 1st, 1978. They take it off till June 20th, 2013.
Whew. Oh my goodness. Wow.
But like, with $18, a bag full of blood pressure medication, and a handshake. But I would like to think that, I'm better, a little bit better than surviving. And if I can do it, I feel as though anybody can.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Well, thank you for all that you're doing. I need to talk to you, because I need you. Well, we'll talk offline, because I wanted to invite you to something, but I'll talk to you offline. Wow. Oh my goodness. So, so now we're going to talk to Darren, because I know Darren is sitting here listening to all of this, and Darren just came home in May of this year. So, and I know, like we talked on Monday, it has to be overwhelming to come home after spending all that time behind bars. What has life been like for you, Darren, and how are you, processing everything and going through the reentry program that you're in?
So like my story is kind of similar to Monty in a way. When I first was incarcerated, I was 19 and I came home 35 years old, and I was accepted to a reentry program that was based in PG County. However, I went through a 8505, 8507 to get accepted. So that's the first phase. You have to go to in treatment. So I take mental health classes, I take peer counseling classes and all that. But I would say something that Monty hinted on earlier is you almost have to rewire your mind. You know, those survival skills that you learned while you was in prison, you have to
Mm-hmm,
rewire everything because it's a whole different survival skills that you need out here in society.
mm-hmm,
So I didn't know what to expect coming through this reentry program, and Stanley talked about it, and Miss Janette spoke on it. These programs are so beneficial for someone who spent so much time in prison because these organizations they connect you with so many resources that just make your transition so smooth. And I don't think that I could have did it without it. I have the family support, I have all the support coming from all angles, but without this type of reentry program, I don't think that reintegrating would be so smooth or even probably would be possible without having those type of assistance, whether it's financial assistance, people helping you strategize your goals for school, jobs, whatever. It's like it's all there. Like you said, clothes, whatever you need is there. So I just think it's so beneficial. And I mean, it's it should be offered more in a lot of counties. I was accepted in PG County reentry programs. I don't know how many other counties have these reentry programs, but I mean it is the best thing to happen for me.
Darren, that's good to know. NSNS works with Prince George's County actually because they had a backlog of reentry services. We partner with them as well. One of
Okay.
our employees who were originally a participant, who still is actually, and graduated from the program, he was one of the first JRAs to come out on PG County, and we've been doing several cases since then. I will tell you, there are other reentry programs, but again, it's depending on how it's personalized to you and how thorough that you want someone there. But if I'm being honest, most of the guys, whatever age you went into prison is the current age that you are mentally when it comes to your emotions.
I agree.
And
I
so,
agree.
no, with no disrespect to that, but it does play a part. Like, I speak to men and women all the time. They're 40, 50, 60 years old, but they went away when they were 16, 17. So learning how to date, safe dating, when it comes to knowing you know, what doctors are out here. Your family don't know you. You guys have a virtual relationship, and that's very much different than it is being behind a wall. And so, having someone mediate, which is a reentry program, or a mentor between those two, you at least have a neutral person to support you along the way. So I'm glad that you are taking that opportunity to do that, and staying grounded. So the more that you do that, that lets people know that second chances are real, and that you guys
Exactly.
are really valuing your freedom and your life and respecting public.
And also, I wanted to say to speak on what you talked about earlier with when you spoke on the screening process. This screening process was an extensive process. I mean, like you said, you interviews, they meet with your family, they make sure you have a home plan. I mean, just your progress within the institution. And I think for me, I think I had an edge because I was so committed in my education, and I always, express that. I always put that out there. Like I just always wanted to further my education. So when I went through my interview process, that was one of the things I always spoke on. Like I came in and I just went straight at it. I always wanted to further my education, and I'm still doing it now. While I was incarcerated, I earned 70 credits towards my bachelor's degree at a liberal arts school taking American Studies. So once I complete that, I still want to go forward, with getting more degrees and more skills under my belt. So I think that's one of the things that's important. And I want to say to you, Monty, this is my first time speaking to you. You know, whatever you're doing in there, that's education, vocational, whatever, stay committed, stay dedicated to it. You know, those are things that they look at. You know, they look at those type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I've been active. I've been active, man, my whole bit, man. You know, getting into programs, creating programs, getting into all the MCE shops, you know, the Votech shops.
Right. Right.
You know, because I too think that it's important, especially, you know, coming out and already having, you know, stripes against us as a black man, as a offender, you know, like just being a felon. So certain fields, you know, if you're not connected, you know, because I want to live a good life too. You know, I don't want to live,
Right.
you know, below everything. You know, I want to live a good life too. So me acquiring certain skills and putting them in my tool belt, it's like, all right, well, let me try this, let me learn this, because I might need this down the road, you know. So I went to Stratford University, you know, got my fitness and nutrition diploma, and, you know, still working on other things. So I agree 100% with you, man. I can relate with you 100%, bro. And hey, I salute you, man, you know, for even getting where you at now. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So, you know, keep going, man. Keep going. Because y'all out there moving like that, y'all paving the way for us to move a whole lot better. You understand what I'm saying?
Likewise, continue doing what you're doing. You know, you're gonna be in the same spot, and you know what I mean, speaking to other guys that's in there and trying to help them. Likewise, man. Continue doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate that, bro.
And Monty, Tay, you know Tay, right? So
yeah,
Tay is watching right now, and he said, "Keep your head up."
Okay. Appreciate that, Tay.
Yep, he's watching right now. And Tay is one of the guys that was incarcerated for like 20 something years. He's been out for a year now. He's gotten his CDL license. He has done so many amazing things, and he's been on the program a few times as well. So listen, everybody, we're coming to the end of the show. And what I want to say is this. Monty, first of all, I appreciate you for being so transparent and, you know, calling me during the week, and we have these conversations about what we're going to talk about. Because y'all, this, like I told you, this is his program. When he comes out, this, y'all going to see his face. It's not going to be behind the walls with Monty anymore. It's going to be another name, but you're going to see him on the screen, and he's going to be talking to you. So, you know, we just prepare, and, you know, you got to prepare, and you got to always think forward. So that's what we're doing right now. So I'm the co-host right now. He's the host of the show. And Sharice, hey Sharice, she said God says we are predestined, and that's exactly right. So that's what we're doing now. We're making a way for Monty. We speaking it into existence. So when he comes out, Monty will have a show on the station. You know, everybody will know him. We'll get to see his face. But so thank you for that. And everybody, on the 29th of this month, I'm going to be doing a pilot taping for a talk show. The end of this month, the 29th, is going to be from, you know, you want to be there from 7 to 10. It's going to be at the Downtown Cultural Arts Center. The first segment, we're going to have a lot of different segments on it. But my first segment is going to be devoted to the criminal justice system. And I'm going to actually be having some men and women on the stage who have spent some years in prison. And, you know, I want to put a spotlight on them. I want to show everybody what they're doing right now, how great they're doing. So we're going to do that on the 29th. And we are hoping that Darren will be able to get permission to come out and join us on that day, so we can celebrate him. And then we got another brother, Marco, who's inside. Even though Marco is inside, Marco contributes a lot to our station. His family is super supportive of this station. So we're going to be giving Marco a shout out and talking about his book as well. So, you know, go to Eventbrite. You can get your free ticket. If you go to Talk Show Dr. Lady J, you'll be able to get your free ticket to come out. This is going to be a epic event because they're trying to bring a talk show to Baltimore. So we want to make sure that we make this the best ever. This pilot showed that it's the best ever. So make sure y'all come out, and thank you to everybody who's already gotten their tickets and who've been blowing up my phone. It's going to be good. So, and Janette, I hope you and your husband are able to come out that night too. And Monti, we'll be giving you a shout out that night. We wish you could be there, but we definitely going to give you a shout out that night for all, what you do to help with the station. So I'm going to go around and give everybody a chance to give us some last words, advice, or whatever you like to say. We're going to start with Janette. Go right ahead.
Thank you for allowing us to come on this show and use our platform to share about reentry does matter, family does matter, and building us together and giving people second chance. NSNS have several things that's going on. Please check out our website, nostruggleNoSuccess.org. We have an open house where we're hiring people. Some positions open up because we have new grant funding. And then also check us out. October 1 will be our first trailer. We picked up a Hulu contract. So it was about my life. Stanley Mitchell and how we develop NSNS. So I'm excited to get that out. So that trailer will be out October 1, and we're going to keep pushing regardless who likes it or not. NSNS is here to stay. We're embedded, and we are here for Baltimore and for the state of Maryland. So thank you so much, Lady J.
Wow, that is awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congrats.
That's big. That's big. Congratulations to you. You deserve it. And Mr. Stanley, what you want to leave with us before you go?
First of all, I want to tell Monti that he says some things that remind me of myself. When I was in there, I never drink. I don't drink, and everything that was available, I took NAA, whatever's available, I took. And I want you to know that them certificates and that work you putting in, it matters when you'll come out here because you're developing good habits. The brother that just released and went to the PC County program, I know you have strong because things about that program that are good, but they say there are a lot of regulations that you have. But I want you also to realize that you're a lot younger than me, probably a lot smarter than me. And if I can stay out here 10 years with not a parking ticket, I know that you can, if that's what you really want to do. At the end of the day, you just have to put blinders on and say, look, I rather sleep in a cardboard box than be in a metal box with another man that I don't even know and don't even like in somebody's cell block, and you'll be fine. And Dr. J, next time you invite me, I told you, make sure you have your glasses on, please.
He is always talking about my eyes. Okay. All right, Mr. Stanley. All right. Yeah, and I'm gonna call you, if not tonight. Well, it won't be tonight because I got another show right after this, but I'll call you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And thank you so much for coming on. And now we have Darren. What you want to share with us before we go?
Once again, just say thank you for doing what you're doing. Your platform is amazing. It's giving us the opportunity for a voice, and to tell Monty, just keep his head up and keep doing what he's doing. Continue doing what you're doing, man, and you're gonna get your opportunity. Appreciate Mr. Mitchell and Miss Janette coming on here and what they doing. The No Struggle, No Success program is perfect, man. It's working out for people, and this is something that we need. So thank you.
Absolutely. And Monty, you give us the last words.
Okay. First off, I want to thank y'all so much for all y'all support. And for shedding light, on this situation. I really do appreciate it. It means everything to me. I do see myself and I see others, within y'all as well, right? And it's some powerful stuff that's been said here tonight. I just want to touch base on that. Miss Janette and Mr. Mitchell, I hope that y'all, continue to do what y'all doing. Y'all continue to uplift and uplift the community. It's unfortunate about your son, but I feel your pain. I really do. I really feel your pain, right? Darren, man, I appreciate you, man. You down there in the program down there, man. Just keep striving, man, paving that path for us, man. Because I'm trying to come right behind you. Man. When I get
I'm trying to be your co-host. You get your show, man. I want to be the co-host, man.
Hey, Monty, you hear what he said? When you come out, he want to be your co-host.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm with that, man.
100%,
man.
Yeah. Listen, y'all can do that right now. I can step off the screen because I be on the screen all the time. So y'all can actually do that, and I can be doing something else because I be on this camera all the time. But yeah, Monty, thanks a lot, and we definitely praying that you will be able to come home soon. Be with your family, with your fiance. So we definitely looking forward to that. And listen, this is the other thing, Monty, before I go. Darren is in a relationship, right? And so I said, now we're going to have to come back and have that conversation. Remember, we had 2 conversations about what is it like to be on the inside and be in a relationship. And you know my feeling about that. But I said, now, we got Darren, and he has a very nice lady in his life. So we need to come back and revisit that conversation because y'all can actually have that conversation better than me. So, yeah, we're going to have to come back and do that. Yep.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, everybody. And Tay, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, Tay is actually going to be one of the men that we're going to be spotlighting on the talk show the end of this month when we do that taping. So Tay will be there also. Like I said, he spent over 20 years in prison doing amazing stuff since he's been out. Hanif, Desmond Hanif Perry. I always get his name mixed up. He's going to be there. We got quite a few guys that's going to be on that stage. And so it's going to be amazing. We want to give everybody their props. And we want to let people know that it's possible to go in and do your time and come back out and listen. And you're successful. Look at Mr. Stanley. Like, he getting ready to be on Hulu, y'all. I got to come back and interview them. But anyway, y'all, I got to go. It's another show getting ready to come up. Monty, it was a lady that called in. She was shy, didn't want to come on the camera, but just wanted to tell you to keep your head up.
Okay. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so everybody stay tuned because I gotta go to the next show, and I'm going to be talking to Mr. Gemini Burke. For those of you, I don't remember because I wasn't old enough to remember. I don't even know if I was born, but his dad was a rhythm and blues singer. I call my mother and ask her if she remembers, but he was a big rhythm and blues singer, Solomon Burke. So his son is now doing the same thing, and I'm about to interview his son in a few minutes. So everybody that's watching, don't go anywhere. Get your popcorn, go to the bathroom, do everything you got to do, and come right back because as soon as I go off, I'm going to be coming back on, and we're going to be talking to Mr. His name is Gemini Burke, and he's the son of Solomon Burke. All right, everybody, have a good night. Good night, Darren.
Night, everybody.
Mr. Stanley, good night. Y'all take care. Talk to you soon.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have